Hey everyone, and welcome back to Indicted TV. I'm your host, Negra. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Gotta give a shout out to my sponsors, Royalty Honey. Keep it hard, guys. And if you do not want to be on my channel and you want to stay home, make sure you hire Attorney Rosenberg. On today's episode, we have Louie the singer.
What's up?
Welcome to Indicted, Louie.
How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great, actually. After this coffee, it's pretty good, no?
Right. That's what I said. I was like, my guy, one of my guys always gets it, and I was surprised because I have a go-to. Every time I go, I got the same thing, so it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Cheers.
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 To the Bucks.
All right, so let's start. Tell me where you're from, where you grew up, you have brothers, sisters, your mom, how was the inside of your house, things like that.
So I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, born and raised. I grew up in a neighborhood called Diamond Hill.
Okay.
And I'm one of four brothers. I'm the oldest. My parents were in high school when they had me. I was in my mom's stomach when she was in high school, so, me and my parents kind of grew up together, so to speak, my household, I think just like everybody else, I don't like to say like, man, I had, the worst or this and that, but I definitely grew up in the problems, truth be told, abusive household, and, that's just what it was. But, I was real close to my grandmother growing up, my mom's mom. And so she took care of me a lot too. My mom trying to go to school, worked multiple jobs, my parents divorced at 9. And, after that, it was just kind of it was downhill from there, but fast paced. So, and I learned to run with it.
For sure. Did you graduate high school, junior high, things like that?
I actually didn't graduate high school. I actually got my GED through the gang intervention program coming up. It's called Coming Up program. So, for anybody pretty much that was in the gang intervention program, they would pay for you to go get your GED. What was crazy is I went to 12 different high schools.
Wait, whoa. So you started getting in trouble at a very young age then?
Yeah, the first time, I went to a couple middle schools too. I got kicked out of middle school too, but first time that I went to, like Juvenile Hall, I was 14.
Okay. Tell us about the first time you went to Juvenile Hall.
It was a family altercation at the house. Everybody was getting into it.
And, okay.
Me being the rowdy one and, the youngster and, saying certain things to the cops, they took me. And then I went four or five times as a juvenile.
Okay.
Then I was locked up as an adult at 17 for stolen car and drugs.
Okay. How was your first experience?
In jail?
In Juvenile Hall, did you fight? How did staff treat you? How did it look?
Actually, that's crazy you say that. The staff, it was horrible. That was probably the worst experience. It was so bad that they had made, certain threats towards my, when I would, you being young, you kind of throw your people's name out there,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling them, all right, I'm going to let them know that when I get out. And all the COs, and I do the math, they were probably in their mid-20s.
Same age as the people.
Right, coming back in there, to apologize and stuff like that. And I was like, nah, you said what you said, man. I'm going to let them know.
Oh.
So it's just one of those things. But
so they apologized because they knew.
Eventually they'll ask, like, who's that? And then they'll tell them, just because like anything, there's always a Mexican side of things, and there's the black gangs too. Then they don't really. Some people know each other, some people don't. Mm-hmm. But it's a big world, but it's also a small world for giants.
Okay, so you were a gang member as well.
I was affiliated. Yes.
Okay.
I was affiliated. I'll just say it like that.
For sure. No, I understand.
Yeah.
So you said you kept getting in trouble just in and out of Juvenile Hall maybe like 4 times, and then you got caught up at 17 for GTA. Mm-hmm. How did you steer? How did that go?
Well, actually, what's crazy? It sounds fucked up, but it was my grandma's car.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So we stole grandma's whip and went to go make some runs and rounds, and so they caught us with the bud and stole the car. But the thing was,
your grandma called the cops.
She didn't know who stole the car.
Ay, pobre.
So I was like, dang, grandma, you're not gonna like this. It was me. But my boy Paco Francisco, man, me, him, and the girl he was dating at the time. We took off going whatever. And, well, long story short, he didn't have his papers together. And he was about to graduate high school, but I knew if he did that he would get, his stuff because he was from Mexico. Aww. So they ended up walking up to the tank. They were like, one of them this and one of them is on probation because I was already on probation.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, you're already in Juvenile Hall, so most definitely on probation.
I had 2 probation officers at the time. And so
I didn't even know that was possible.
One's for family violence and one's for like the gang and stuff.
Okay. Yes.
The alleged gang activity, and so they asked, what was what. And I just told Paco, I said, man, get home. And I told them, I was like, it's all mine. And I took everything. And he ended up graduating high school, becoming a pro boxer.
Oh, and he got his papers and all of that.
He got his papers.
Oh, that was nice of you.
I mean, I already knew where I was going. You know what I'm saying? It's pointless for them to get us both. And, in the long run, I was the one that took the car. I was the one that wanted to go try to make the money.
You took your responsibility, which is dope, Which there's a lot of people that don't do that. And
I know. Trust me.
You said, I know.
That's why them fools don't pop out no more. Like I always say, I went to jail, didn't owe nobody money, didn't tell on nobody, came home, did my thing.
That's right.
Some people can't say that.
That is a fact.
A lot of people.
Say that shit again.
A lot of people can't say that.
So when you went for that, you went to adult jail?
Yeah, I was 17. They took me to jail. I remember.
How did you feel going from juvenile hall to the county? Well, because you guys have whatever county. What was it called?
Yeah, county. We have county jail. It was definitely, I remember I sat in the car that I was like, man, take me to juvie. They go, y'all are 17. Y'all going to jail. I said, oh shit.
I can hear the Texas accent in you. Yes.
So we went, and I remember like not being funny. You look at your homeboy in the back of the car, because they try to turn you against each other. He said that. Then they left the mic on, so we hear the old girl statement. She throwing us both under.
Oh, hell
and I was like, oh, we're out of there. So it was one of those, I got your back if you got mine type shit. And we went down, and not being funny, like the homies were cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we're youngsters, so we're out the way. They asked where we're from, and there was no, problems when we told them, and just it was what it was, because we're youngsters, they ain't worried about us.
You adapted quick?
Man, unfortunately, yeah.
How did you feel? Because obviously it's different from what you were used to.
I mean, anybody that's gonna say that they weren't intimidated the first time if they went as a youngster, they're a liar. In my eyes, maybe I'm just built different, but I was intimidated in some situations. I'm like, dang, I'm 17. All these fools are in their late 20s, early 30s. Some of them older than that. My dad's age, just did time back on a bench warrant. Mm-hmm. These fools been gone 15 years, coming back. They ain't trying to hear shit.
Yeah.
They ain't trying to hear about your baby time. So it's like, you start learning little things like that.
For sure.
You learn not to complain about your situation because somebody got a worse one sitting across the table from you,
Yes.
So it's just one of those things. But yeah, I adapted quick, which I think that was bad because eventually that's why I got in so much trouble. I wasn't tripping on going back. 3 hots in the cot, baby.
You felt comfortable.
Yeah, 3 hots in the cot,
Facts. You laugh.
Yeah. People don't understand what that means when you ain't got no money. When you ain't got nothing,
sure.
man. I got some meals and I got somewhere to sleep.
Mm-hmm. So how long did you end up doing for that?
For that, not long. I ended up getting bonded out and fighting the cases. Yeah, I mean, I was there. I wasn't there long, but I ended up bonding out, fighting the cases, like I said. But one led to another, assault cases and all this.
So how many times did you go to the county before you
went to prison? Probably over 15 times.
And was it all for different things?
Yeah, I mean, mainly always just kind of fighting at bars and shit like that.
I didn't take you for a little bar fighter.
Well, I mean, nobody really is. It just kind of happens. It's not a sport yet, but maybe it should be. But no, yeah, just that, just getting affiliated with the wrong crowd, drugs, just.
So you use drugs as well?
Mm-hmm. I used and I sold drugs.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So from all of those times that you were like in the county jail, what would you say was the craziest thing you saw?
Saw?
I'm gonna ask you what was the craziest thing you did. I'm gonna ask you both. Don't worry.
Saw. Man, it's kind of hard to say because,
Well, I mean, say what you could say, obviously.
I mean, you definitely see things happen. Guys are in there for cases with children and stuff, and you see, people take it into their own hands.
Yeah.
And, if it ain't got nothing to do with you, you just let, if it don't apply, let it fly. You just, you look forward,
For sure.
It ain't got nothing to do with you. You didn't hear nothing, you didn't see nothing. And
yeah, for sure. What was the craziest thing you did?
Man, and I wasn't even really wilding like that, to be honest. But I had a couple scraps over Scrabble and shit like that.
Did you have visits while you were incarcerated?
I did.
Did you have girlfriends?
No, I was with my son's mother though.
So you had a child at a younger age.
Yeah. I was a father at 19.
Okay.
Yeah, and at the time when I went to prison, I had 2 sons, and one of them was born while I was in prison.
How was that for you?
It was hard. First time I had to hold my son was in a prison visit. And he was named after me and my father, and that was my dad's big thing, every time I would have a son, which was the 2 boys, my 2 oldest, it was like, oh, Lou the Third, right? And I'm like, man, I wish she's naming him this. He's like, what? You know?
And then you have the kind of like no control, especially because you're not around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in their lives, I was actually, unfortunately, like, with my 8-year-old, I wasn't actually, and I just went public with this because I've got to meet my son actually, you know. And the last time I saw him, he was a year and a half, and it was in a supervised visit. And there was a cop at the door, a lady filming us, and we're in a cubicle for 2 hours in some building that I had to pay for, you know. Mm-hmm. And his mother, due to everything that went on, she removed him from my life, and I think that was the best thing that could have happened for him. He was raised by a strong dude that has a similar past of mine. Probably not as dark and deep, but he definitely been through some things to where, you know, he's got a solid ground, a great provider. So, you know, that's who he calls dad, you know, and now he knows me too as dad, but, you know, the other guy definitely earned that title. So
I love that you say that. Like, you know, it's not easy at least I don't think it's easy for a man to admit or even say what you're saying. You know, sometimes they're just so prideful. It's like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Even though they've been there and taken care of their kids.
Yeah,
like,
that's what it is to me. Because my oldest son, like, he'll never have those stories. Like, I'm dad to him. Like, there's nothing aside from that. Like, yeah, I left him for a while, but he tells people, like, you know, my dad's never put his hands on me. You know, like, and the worst thing you could tell him is, I'm gonna tell your dad. You know, like, me and my son are real close. Like, me and my dad were. He's 14 now, and you know. He's you know, our kids are us all over again. So it's kind of like, it's a beautiful thing to see the things he's going to. Sometimes I look away like, there's no way I'm already dealing with this. I'm only 33, you know, but yeah, so.
Oh, and there's way more.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, you know, there's things that, you know, even like my family don't know about that he's already done. And I've just had to realize, like, you know, I was my father's son, and he is mine. So,
and he's very comfortable with telling you, and he's open, and you guys are close enough that he is able to tell you what he does and what he goes through, which is an amazing
Sometimes
thing.
He doesn't have a choice because, you know, I used to move different in the city, and so did my family. So if I want to know something, I'm going to know something.
No matter
and he
what.
already knows, like, damn, I can't hide it. And it's best you tell me first because you don't want me to do that the other way. So it's just like that. But yeah, so my youngest son Luis, you know, me and his mom met before I went to prison around the time my dad died, and she was there for me for that. And we had our differences. She made her mistakes, I made mine. So it's like, you know, we tried the co-parenting thing, and it's hard because, you know, there were still feelings there and stuff. But she's, you know, she gets in her moods, but she's never denied me a chance to be a father. And, you know, they live hours away from where I'm from, but I'm always, as soon as I get into town, like, my guys will tell you, even when we're passing through on the bus, I'll tell them, hey, we're going to stop in Wichita, and we'll cut that out. But we're going to stop on the way there, you know, to just, you know, see the boys. And I'll get out and I'll go do my soccer games with them and stuff like that. Yeah.
And especially with the one that you just reconnected with.
Well, actually, my other son, and he's in West Texas. That's the 8-year-old. He's my music guy. He's my music lover. Like, and it's crazy because he didn't know me until this, and like now everything makes sense to him, you know. And like he called me yesterday in the middle of my nap, and I wake up just to hear their voices. It's better.
So amazing. Yeah. That's all we live for.
I was on FaceTime with the babies this morning. The other one mad that the other one broke his tablet because I have a 2-year-old too. So like they're real close in the age enough to where they can throw down, you know, and it's like hard, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, my kids, like, especially like with temptation to try to not go back, because I already know, like, there's certain things that, you know, that'll send me back. So it's like, those are the things that I get nervous about, because sometimes I don't want the other guy to just all this up for me. And I just never want to put my kids through it again. My grandmother, my mother, you know, because they were the reason my kid was even there to see me, you know. So making my mom drive them hours, you know, and you know, when I got out, like, me and my mom passed each other up. She didn't even recognize me. Like, I had a beard down to here, and it turns red, like, when it gets longer. And I was in some big old clothes that didn't even fit me. And
when she went to go visit you?
When she picked me up, when she got me out. Because when I got out, right, but like 3 months before that, they had already started putting me on transit. So I had no communication to my family. I had nothing.
This is when you got out of prison. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's rewind. We'll get there. Let's rewind. So what actually led you to prison?
Well, I mean, everybody starts off selling the basic stuff, but eventually I started selling the harder stuff. And, you know, you just get greedy in that life. You want more money. But the thing is I remember starting selling weed a little bit, just for a little bit of money here and there. Because, you know, I was dropped out at 17, didn't really have a job opportunities or anywhere to get a way to get around. My mom had already kicked me out of the house, so there wasn't that. My pops, you know, you got a problem, fix it. Someone's in your way, move it. You know, that was his mentality. You know, just go do whatever, you know.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, and so, you know, I did. And I you know, the homies and stuff like that, you know, like, you know, here, just get rid of this, pay me when you're done. The fronts start coming in. Mm-hmm. And then eventually you got your own money. So then now you feel this entitlement to feeling like whatever you think about the definition of a boss is at the time, which is definitely not real, but
I like that you say it. I love that.
I mean, you just grow up idolizing the wrong things, and that's what all you know. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is your fault when you start getting older and realizing like you're no longer responsible for yourself. You're responsible for other people. Mm-hmm. So it's like, man, you're gonna let them down? Because, you know, in a way, you know, when my dad passed, you know, he kind of, and I hate to say it, he took the cheap way out. Like, he was on drugs and went out, and it was kind of like, you know, I never want to dip on my kids like that. And so
God bless you.
I started selling more, getting involved in that shit, and it only gets bigger when you're good at it, you know. Mm-hmm. And when you're low key about it, you know. And I've always kind of been the R&B dude, you know. So when I got caught, everybody was kind of like, what the and people were like, some people were like, I told you, we told you, and da-da-da.
You didn't want to listen.
Yeah, and well, really on some, like, they were like, we told y'all what he was doing, and y'all didn't want to believe us, and, you know, some people were like, you know, whatever. And
how did you end up getting caught?
Man,
like, tell us the whole
it was just
the whole
retarded.
scene.
I was in the car and they walked up on me because somebody was like, he's on 7th Street right now doing this and that.
Oh, so definitely somebody told on you.
Yeah, they found me in the car. They told them that I was in the car handling something, and they pulled up on the car, pretty much fought to get me out because I already knew what's up. And they found some certain things, and then, you know, by word of mouth, they were trying to pin bigger things on me. And, you know, it just didn't go their way, but it still went in a bad way. So they got me for manufacturing and delivering.
Okay. So those were your charges.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of them, I went to prison also for assault.
Okay.
I got into a bar fight with my cousin. And
so basically all of that in like one.
Yeah, me and my cousin got into it one time. My older cousin, he started a fight that I finished, and I ended up going to jail for it or whatever. And I went and got probation. I ended up getting felony deferred adjudication. Pretty much like, if you finish the probation, kind of wipe it off. You ain't got to do time. Mm-hmm. They gave me probation. That's when I caught the Mandel charge, and bam, took me to prison for both. So, yeah.
How long did you fight your case for? How long, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, fighting the case, going on the run on the case, you know, I guess it's the same, but
you went on the run for the case because you bailed out.
I bonded out, yes, and then I ended up going to court for the case. And when I realized that they weren't going to, that there was no probation for manufacturing delivering.
Yeah, no.
Like, you had to go. So I was like, well, I'm on the, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna start skipping till they trip me, you know? Uh-huh. And they set me up at the house when one of my cousins, didn't set me up, but I had to link up with one of my cousins for something and back in the city. So I had left the city and I got back to the city. And when I got there, I remember I went to my grandma's house. I was there for 5 minutes. These fools were watching. And I was laying down. I kicked off my shoes. And all I heard was, Palacios, come out of the house. It's surrounded. And I shit you not, I thought the homeboys were playing with me. I was like, that's trash. Why would y'all even play like that? I looked down there. They got my family on the front yard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had to come out.
I looked out the balcony, you know, and I knew I had about 4 or 5 minutes. So I wasn't trying to go down for more stuff, so all I can say is I had a lot of work to do before I went down there. So I was like, shit. So I ended up going down there, and it was just wild because they ended up breaching. I found out that they were waiting on shields to go inside first. So I guess they had got one. They didn't waste no time. And I guess they thought they were going to find more shit, which I was like, man, nah, that's stupid. You know, like, you know, just take me, whatever. But I was barefooted. And they had a SRT, they had local police, state police, and gang unit all around the house because of my old affiliations and my record. And I just remember being like, damn, they had my grandma pulled over when she left the house. And
They didn't
let her use the phone for like 30 minutes. My cousin Los had just left the house because my uncle owns a company that everybody works for. So everybody had got off of work and left the house, and one by one they all got stopped and they were asked to not use the phone.
Did they let you put your shoes on before they took you?
Hell no. Fools already knew what's up. And like, so I was like, well, I mean, not that I need it. I'm about to get slides in the next 30 minutes, you know? So
yeah,
they ended up taking me in. And, you know, I remember just that day, like going like, this is it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't got my dad to call. I don't got, you know, like, but I think that's what helped me finally like convert into being a real man, because I mean, taking responsibility is one thing, you're saying you will, but actually doing it, that was different, you know? Prison changed me, just like anybody, you know, or anybody that lets it, you know? You know.
Which it should.
Yeah, it should. I mean, let's be honest, we got the homies that just
don't.
That's what they do. That's them. That's their career, I guess.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, career criminals, what the laws call it. So it's like, man, I was just blessed to do my small bid, and that's it.
So how long did you end up doing?
Right under 2 years, but I was still on parole.
Oh, you're still on parole?
No, I was still on parole. I ended up finishing it a year and a half later. No, a year later, about like 11 months.
So tell me about your prison experience, because obviously you're unindicted, right? I said, because obviously you're unindicted, so we want to know about your prison experience. Where did you go? I'm so used to hearing prisons from California.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about prisons in Texas.
So, I don't know how it is out here, but y'all start up like at a pretty much a unit, then go to an ID unit. So out there, you go to what they call transfer units first.
Okay.
And then you could spend only up to 2 years there. Some people are out in the next week. But I went to a transfer unit first. I was on Middleton unit in West Texas. And I remember, man, just literally looking around like, this is crazy. I was waiting for somebody to come out. All right, just kidding. Don't again though, next time serious. But nah, wasn't none of that.
It was real.
Yeah, it was like everything, like not being funny, is like everything they say in the movies is damn near pretty close. You know, like you looking around and fools are just tripping and you're like, damn, you know what? I think I'm gonna calm my ass down. But then you get comfortable, which is bad.
Yes.
And then you're one of the fools tripping. You know, lockdowns are 110 degrees. Ain't nobody eating or left the dorm in 10 days. You just action. That phone is a fighter. That's you fighting over that phone every damn day. Man, this fool stole this or this fool did that. Now it's politics. You know, and just because you're wearing.
So in Texas, there is still a lot of politics in the prisons. That's, you know, because in Southern California, it's a lot. So, like I said, I don't know anything about.
Yeah, I mean,
Texas.
I won't speak on like gangs or gang names,
not at all. But
I will say, like, no, it's like ours is predominantly race problems. You know, like, so raza runs with raza, you know what I'm saying? But then there are people that each other. And, you know, I was just one of those cats. I was cool with everybody. You know, I just was. But, you know, like, I definitely had my problems, you know, with people. And, you know, I just, you know, I don't.
Which is normal because you can't have a perfect and stay.
Yeah, not only that, like, I'm real strong on like, hey, look, I ain't really pull the disrespect card, you know. That's not me, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want no problem. If there's a problem, no problem.
Just did it.
You know, so it's like, I don't know, like, I would just find myself in the middle of throwing down like, damn, fool, you're tripping. We're already here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, go all the way. And it was what it was, like, you know, Thanksgiving 2019, I remember in the middle of all that, I was, you know, we're getting down, and I remember just being like, damn, man, this is not how I remember Thanksgiving, you know?
Yeah.
And it just makes you just appreciate that, you know, like I remember, for example, this Thanksgiving that just passed, not that I didn't want to go to my mom's, I was just tired, you know, and I had the kids and I just wanted to be at the house. But I was like, man, you know what, let me get up, let me go to my mom's. I made the biscuits, you know, it's cool, you know, like I ain't never made shit, you know?
Well, good that you got up, because, you know, when we're in there, we're even when we're not in there, but we're in the lifestyle, like we don't have time to even appreciate. And when we're in there, we're not that crying, but we're fucking crying like, oh man, I wish I was with my family.
Yeah.
And then when we're out here, we have the opportunity to be with our families. We ain't even trying to be with our families because we think we got so much shit going on. In reality, we don't got nothing going on.
Yeah, we're just
because in reality,
it.
people that have things going on are with their families and they take advantage of those days.
Yeah,
you know,
Correct,
to
correct.
make more memories.
Yeah, that's why, like, you know, with everything, with the music happening for me, I'm never home. So when I am home, like, I've been home one day out of the last 2 weeks, and I went, and like the one day that I got home, I got into town about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was eating with my family. I took them out to eat at 7 o'clock, and then I was on a plane in the morning. You know, so it's like, you know, I try to take advantage of it.
Which is good.
Yeah. I'm real close with my grandma now. Like, me and my mom, we've definitely built a relationship over the last year and a half, and it's a struggle. But
since you've been out.
Yeah. So it's like, it's hard, you know, because I was real close to my dad, and she was closer to my brothers, and now with me being older, it's two things. Like, we understand each other, but at the same time, it's like I'm old enough to where I'm like, nah, I don't understand that because I do it this way. You know, like my parents were really abusive. Like, they beat the shit out of each other, and they would beat the shit out of me. You know?
Yeah, because they were mad.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's like crazy. I could go on forever, you know. And I put it in some of the records, you know. And I've even told my mom, like, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I put this in the song. If you say I don't want it out, it won't come out. I'll rewrite something, but I'm letting people know, you know, this is what it was. And I talk about, you know, us all being abused, and, you know, her as well, and, you know, my dad being abusive, and then them abusing me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was my problem too, as far as the violence, because, you know, my mom tells me, like, you got to be careful what you do around these kids. They're sponges. They're babies. You can't blame nobody else except for what you do, because that's what they see. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like wondering, like, does she understand what she's saying? Because you've said that I was this my whole life. You can't blame the baby. That's all he saw.
That's right.
So it's kind of like, I wanted to tell her, but at the same time, I don't never want to just
make her feel bad.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, like, even like when she kicked me out of the houses because I didn't want to go back to school. I don't even think she realized like how serious it was. But I finally said it in front of her. All these years, she never knew why I didn't want to go to school. She thought it was just problems. But I came home and my PO was there, and I'm mad. Like, why is this fool here at my house? You know, whatever. And the truth is, I didn't want to go because we were supposed to throw down, not with hands, with this other rival, you know, neighborhood at our school. They were going to show up. Mm-hmm. And I ain't gonna lie, I was like, damn, like, this is getting serious, you know, man. And I think that was God, like, you know, and like, they call it whatever you want, but I was like, to be honest with you, I was like, man, I don't know, man, this is
not for you.
Yeah, I mean, my dumb ass was still involved.
I mean, you can't, it's just how it goes, unfortunately.
But that was my way of being like, man. And so I didn't. It was like a year or so before I went to jail for the first time. But I ended up, you know, not going back to school because of that. Yeah. And she kicked me out because I didn't want to go to school, but she never knew the real reason. And I felt bad for even saying it because I never wanted her to feel bad. Like, damn, like, what did I do? Well, she apologized. She's like, I should have never, because my PO was the one that told her pretty much to kick me out. She was like, I should have never let some other man just, you know, decide what to do with my child. I'm sorry. Because when people know, you know, I'm open with it now. I was homeless. Like, I didn't go to she told my grandma, don't let him in. And the PO told them, they were like, you can get in trouble if you let him in. They told my dad the same thing. And I used to break dance when I was younger. So I would break at Echo Lake. And right after that, I would go to sleep. Like, people would leave, I would act like I was waiting for my ride. And I had a sleeping bag. Yeah, it was true. And my cousin Tank, shout out to Daniel, he actually was the one that found out. And he was pissed. So he ended up, him and his mom took me in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Super sad.
Yeah, it's horrible. But I mean, it is over now.
Yeah, that's just the past. And I mean, it's not just the past. It's not like that. But, you know, we live and we learn. And we try not to live the way we did with our children. Because we should be able to learn from what we went through. You know?
I let my son know, like, you have no idea, you know, because, you know, they ask why I do certain things. Like, I had a thing called Feed My City, and it's where I would feed the homeless. But that's where it came from. It's because I know what it was like to not eat when somebody was full and, you know, not have something to drink when they were drinking. Mm-hmm.
So let's take it back. You got charged. You got the 2 years. You're in this transit thing. You're fighting. You got in a fight. You're wondering, like, why did I just do this? Blah, blah, blah. Did you spread in there?
Oh, hell yeah.
What's your favorite spread?
Man, honestly, well, my own little concoction. It was what I used to call pretty much Chinese food, right? But I would get turkey bacon, bacon bits, and I would chop them up, like dice them up like little mini pepperonis. And then that was on the side. I would have that ready, already heating up. Then I would get this. There was it was Gouda cheese, but I kept the Tupperware to it because it was perfect size. I would put the white rice in there with the orange electrolyte pack. Put some water in there so it came out like orange rice, and then I had a bag of pork rinds, and this is where it was the big kicker. I had this bottle of sauce, but the way I made the sauce was like, I mean, you're talking about, I'll give you just a couple because I can't give up the recipe. You know, I used to charge for that. They would be like, hey, make it. And I would be like, look.
That was your hustle.
Well, yeah, I couldn't even I mean, to be honest with you, I had money in there. So like, there was days that I spread big every day by myself. Barbecue beef, and it, the math. So I would literally have $4 meals a day, just cause I'm not a big dude. I got out of prison 191 solid, worked out every day, proteins, chicken chunk packs, everything. So I used to make this sauce though, and it was like an Asian tangy sauce, right? And I would pour it in the pork rinds, mush them up real big, soggy them up, and then I would spread it on the rice with the turkey bacon bits, and then I would get nachos, tortilla chips, and I would just dip it like that, and I would eat them like that. Oh, smacking. Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, right. Hey, I shit you not. On the tour, me and the guys, we made a big ass pizza. Because if there's a bunch of us, it's in a big trash bag.
You still do
lay it out. Yeah, time to time, just to kind of put them on some shit. And plus, I mean, it's good. Because now you got free world options. Man, I got the chili with beans. Spread that on there. Some cheese. Some sour cream over here.
We ain't never too good to make it work.
Nah, hell nah. And what's crazy though in the world, that shit just as expensive as going to fucking Logan's Roadhouse or some shit. So I might as well just go eat a nice steak. But it's cool to do just with my kids and stuff like that. And it's funny. It's funny because my son, my 4-year-old, all you hear is pat, pat, pat. His mama go in the kitchen. He's sitting there slamming the soup on the ground. And then she's looking like, damn it, boy. And he'll make his soup, right? Because he's 4 doing this. And people don't realize that 4 making your own soup. I mean, that's
I have a 4-year-old.
So, and then he'll grab his bag of chips. He crushes it all up, sprinkles it. And then she's just sitting there like, this fool, Yeah. So, I mean, it's, but I mean, I tell my kids, man, look, you gotta be all that extra shit, even now that we have, they
don't know, they just know it's food.
It is food, so even throwing chili in the soups, is what it is.
Yeah, I know, it definitely is what it is, and it tastes good actually.
Yeah, I mean, we would spread a lot of times on game days, Cowboys.
Okay.
We watch the Cowboys, and all the homeboys would just sit there, enjoy a meal together is really what it was. Because I mean, you're really not gonna get full eating like that. You're gonna still go eat something afterwards. But it was really about just eating with each other and realizing hey, we alone, but we're not.
We're not. Yeah. So tell me about when you said you got out and you were in transit, so your mom didn't recognize you.
Mm-hmm. So I hadn't seen them for some months, and my beard was already growing. But at this point, they weren't allowed to touch it, So they were like, no shaping, none of this shit. So it was down to here. It was all on my cheeks, and then my mustache was real thick, and my hair was all bushed out crazy. And
Do you have curly hair or straight hair?
I have curly hair.
Okay.
So wavy hair, so to speak. So I'm walking, and I remember all the homies, we're all walking. We got our chain bags. So I'm looking around. And the circle of family and the circle of people I'm with is getting smaller because they're finding their families, they're going, whatever. I literally passed everybody up, and so did my mom. And she did, I guess, what I did.
Where's my son?
Yeah, and I turned around, and it was like a scene out of a movie. We turned around and made eye contact. She said, "Oh my God," and I was like, "What's up, mama?" That was it. She drove me back home about 3.5 hours. She had to go down to South Texas to get me.
Did your grandma go? Or just
no, it was just my mom. It was because I ended up getting stuck in 3 different units down in South Texas. I saw 4 units altogether.
What do you mean 4 units? Tell us what that.
4 different prison units.
Oh, so you went to 4 different prisons in those 2 years.
Yeah. So
what are these prisons called?
I started at Middleton, got shot over to Bird Unit for diagnostics. Where Bird Unit's just pretty much where they put you to see where they're gonna put you.
Like reception type
shit. Yeah.
Okay.
So I ended up there, and they put me on Goree Unit.
Which is what?
It's a unit right there too, in South Texas.
That's just the name.
That's the name of the unit. And then I ended up going to the Walls unit because they don't let you out of every unit. You have to go to a unit where you can actually walk out of. Okay. And I went to the Walls unit. And that's where they have the electric chair, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's where that fool got killed.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we we saw all that, and it's like, nah, not for me, homie.
No.
I'm out. Yeah. You see all that in there. Especially a lot of those fools are doing you know how it is. They're doing life. And them fools, some of them been in there 30 years. So, but yeah.
How was their behaviors? How do they behave? How do they carry themselves?
You gotta. I don't know how it is in California, but you gotta carry yourself solid and.
No, as far as like
don't
those
be-
men that's been doing so many years, or like some. Did you ever
You
meet
see-
somebody that's like
Yeah.
on death row type of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not in there with the death row cats because they're on
Their own
death row.
unit.
They're on their own situation. But yeah, I've met plenty of cats that got 60 years, been there already 25, 30. And man, stronger men than me, you know? So like, I just, they, if anything, they get their kick and love out of motivating us to stay out of it.
Yes.
And it's like, they'll ask, who you running with, homie? Like, and they read, and being from Texas, just like being from Cali, you can read shit and know what's up.
Mm-hmm.
So like, they've read my arms and my legs, and they'll be like, oh yeah, how long you been with that, or what you doing with that? And I'm like, man, nah, you got a lot of me, youngster.
Mm-hmm.
Let me holler at you right quick. And before you know it, that's your chest buddy. So it's like, come on, youngster, let me run you down for the day. And he's like, all right, school, come on, and you just play, but you're not realizing like you're not just playing the game.
He's learning you.
You're learning the game. He's spitting facts the whole time, and you're like. And it's just little things like that you remember, like, man, because there's people, man, like, people know me, like, I send money back, like, cats that I've met, that they're in there forever. Hell yeah. Like,
what would you say was the nicest thing you saw or experienced in these 2 years?
wasn't much.
I mean, but it's something,
in the experience, not in there, but in the experience of being in there, one of my close friends, my boy Throat Essay, big shout out to him, held it down for me. He bought my kids their Christmas gifts. I missed a couple Christmases, missed some birthdays, my mom's birthday a couple times. He handled all that for me, and he didn't ask for nothing. He turned on the phone, would let me vent sometimes. Just, hey, the music gonna happen when you get out, da-da-da. And, it just, like, you can't pray for people like that. You just blessed with them. And he held it down with me, and, like, Throat's always been a solid dude though. Like, he's one of those, everybody's got at least that one homie that's just straight like, like solid. And you don't know why, but you know why, but you almost, they're so solid you want to ask like, damn fool, what is it? But I've known him for probably about almost 10 years now, and we've just always been cool, and he held me down, and I think in those 2 years it made me realize like,
he's my friend.
Yeah, life's shit sometimes, but not all the people are. And he was one of them I could say that helped me like keep faith and wanting to be a good person.
Good.
Yeah.
How long have you been out?
3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you sing.
Yes.
Tell us what you do.
So I do country music, but it's more of like it's my own little style,
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, yeah. And I think it's funnier when people find out that I really ride horses and shit. So they're like,
That's
man,
dope.
I mean, it's my, it's my piece, So, yeah, I do country music. I've recently signed a major deal with Universal Music Group Nashville.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've been touring 40 cities this year. 80% of them were sold out, which is even crazier. I've done everything you could think of, from NFL halftime shows to news stations all over the U.S.
That?
It's beautiful. It's a blessing. I remember at one point trying to just get on the radio in certain cities and stuff, and I think now I've been broadcasted close to 100 stations this year, just because some of the stations were syndicated, but, just to see the recognition and everything. And, I'm working with a lot of my idols that I grew up idolizing, of course, so I was like, it's weird, it's surreal sometimes.
And
but
you've always been a singer?
Yeah, that's always been my passion, and I think that's kind of what helped me through life, because when I didn't have nothing, I had music. And when I was lost, I had music. And when I was hurt, I had music.
So you write music too?
I write all my music.
Okay.
Yeah. And I talk about prison in my country songs. I talk about going back. I talk about, how hard it was leaving my kids. I talk about, they say I see a prison cell. They say I never make it. Well, they got one of those right. So it's one of those things where like I've used what I went through to just show up other people. Like I said yesterday in an interview, like, I always used to be mad. Why didn't some hand come in and pull me out?
They put you in there, so that was your hand.
Yeah, and the thing is I think that they didn't pull me out because I needed to make my hand stronger, because that's my job for people. And it's through music. I get the craziest stories of people telling me how my music changed their life. And
Tell us the story.
I was in Odessa, and this guy walks up, at the meet and greet. And the thing I thought was crazy is he didn't want a picture. He didn't want nothing. He bought the meet and greet ticket just to tell me. And he was already halfway crying. Big old cholo dude too. So, I know that was hard for him. And I see, we have film all the time of shows of guys that have done 30 years, 20 years, tatted all on the, got it like straight up, right? Bawling while I'm singing Alcoholic on the piano. And it's about just saying, I don't want to be an alcoholic. I don't ever want to let them call me by that name. It's not my name, not no more. And it's like, we get into those situations of meeting these people, and this guy walks up and he's like, Louie, I just needed to tell you, man. He goes, I lost my son about 6 months ago or so. He said, and I was ready to tap out. I was ready to be done. And he's already starting to cry. He was like, your song, One of Those Days, came on my timeline. Thank you. And I was like, wow, and I was like, damn, being a father and then being a son of a father that passed away, I was like, like those are little things. People always ask me like, what's it like with the money and what's it like touring and with the major deal? And I'm like, man, that's cool, but that's why I do it. Was because I didn't have that, and
that's your therapy. That's what helps you.
Yeah, I used to, run around the house doing the Selena and Michael Jackson and Garth Brooks concerts on my own, right? And I see these kids doing it with my clothes on, with my songs and stuff like that. I've pulled up to these houses and reached out to the parents like, hey, we'll come, and the whole family is fans of the music. And it's little things like that. Like if I'd have had that guy, that I looked up to, maybe I wouldn't have been through so many problems. But like I said, again, I think that's why I went through them, because I'm supposed to be the guy.
That's your path.
Yeah.
You had to go through.
We just took a boxer, aspiring boxer. He was 13 years old, to the Ryan Garcia fight, courtesy of Golden Boy. Shout out to Golden Boy. Golden Boy reached out and was like, yo, we want Louie and Smooth Vega ringside. We're going to give you another extra ticket to give away to a fan. And so we chose this 13-year-old kid. And I remember looking at that kid and looking at him, look at everything. I told him, I was like, one day that's going to be you, dog. I just make sure you give me tickets, and so it's that's why I do it. Like I literally find my passion in that, the stories about you remind me of my brother, my baby daddy, my son, or homeboy, you remind me of myself, that's why, like, cause it's like, we don't have a lot of voices that are trying to change the game. Like no offense to like the rappers and stuff like that do the traditional route of talking about what they're still involved in. Like I gotta be real. If I was still involved, I'd be talking about that too. Mm-hmm. So it's like I pray that they make it out. But me, I just wouldn't feel comfortable making a real living off of convincing people to do the dumb shit I already did. Yes. But then again, you find out that it's the people that rap about that shit that never really did it. And whenever you call them out on the bullshit, then they go do something dumb to prove that they are about it, which is backwards.
Which is so terrible.
We did it because we had to, or we just did it because we didn't want to. We just ended up in a situation. And then, now we're here, but, like I said. But even
just like what you said, there's not too many people that have the voice, to help. But when there is a lot, right? There is. There's always that lash, like, oh, he thinks he's doing this or he's doing this. So it's like all the hate just from our own people, that because the guy is working hard.
Yeah. And I think that that's cool, where I get to change that up a little bit, because, man, as much as I want to hide it, people know my story. And especially back home, they try to judge me for who my family is and what they've done and all this. And it's like, man, the only thing I can say is, like, if you heard the stories, then believe them. Just believe them. That's fine, because they are true. But where I'm going, that's my story to write.
That's right.
So keep reading.
That's right. Yeah. Keep reading and listening.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Because now the pressure's really on, because it's like they wait for you to slip up. I keep it real with everybody. There's days I want to slip up all the time. Fools saying this and that, or maybe saying that they're going to pull up to the shows, and it's like, oh, here we go.
And it's like, why don't you just that topic is like, so honestly, it's overwhelming, because it's like there's so much of that. Like, you can't be mad at the person because he's working harder than you are. And
that's what it is to me. That's funny, because the people that work hard and do the thing, they don't really want the credit. And the people that are lazy and don't do shit, they're the ones that feel like they're accredited. They should be accredited for everything. I got people now that things are popping trying to claim that they wrote my music, and it's like, man, on a side note, show me one song you've written that, period. But it's one of those things where they do stuff like that really to trigger the old me to get a reaction, because the worst part is my success is what's hurting them the most. And I don't even do it to hurt them. I just do that to feed my family. They hurt themselves by wanting to hate me,
Yes.
And I shit you not, it goes like this. You can say all the prayers you want in the world, but if you really still have that low key hate, you're not mad at me or life. You're mad at yourself.
Yeah, if your heart is not okay, God knows.
It's like the street shit. Ain't no such thing as halfway in it. There's no. You know, you got to be full in with God because He knows. You know, like you can fool whoever you want. That's why I truly believe a lot of these guys are still back home. You know, playing funerals. You know, singing at funerals, and you know, the truth is they've sang at so many funerals. That's why they're so dead inside. Like they just not ready to move forward. They're not. You know, I let go and I let God, and I started telling myself the truth. You're having a pity party because you're mad at what you did, you know, and you know I even got older people hating, you know, because trying to bring up my past, you know, that were in little bands and stuff like that, and it's like, you know, I just look around sometimes, and even my mom's like, just let it go.
Don't even worry, you know, because it's you're obviously doing something amazing in order for people to keep talking about you, or you know, not just you, but just in general, because it's just that's how it works all the way around.
That's the big part. When I notice, I'm like, they're talking about me. I've got to be under their skin, like. Not in a bad way. I forget some of these people exist until they start, you know, bashing. And I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, man, how's that fool been? And then, you know, you run to their Facebooks and it's like going through the worst part of my life right now. And it's like, oh, you're not mad at me. You're mad at you.
Yourself, for sure.
You're hurt through what you're going through, though.
Yes. So, is there anything else? I was like, I got a little lost. Is there anything that you would like to share from your prison experience that you haven't shared? Wait, did you sing in there?
I actually did.
Tell me.
Hey, that's cool. You know, people don't really ask that because it's not somewhere you would sing. But my mom always used to say, you're going to sing in church one day. And I remember being like, good luck getting me there. And then now I'm on the prison unit in Middleton at one point, and they were like, the funny thing is I used to break dance. So they were like, come on, hit something. So I went in there, I knocked out some head spins. And they're like, what? So I'm out of breath. And then the guy walks up, they said you can sing. And I was like, sure. So he gives me the mic and I sang, and
out of breath too and everything, right?
Yeah. So but it was funny. I just remember the moment, and a week later they were like, how'd you like to be part of the band for the church choir? I'm like, what? And I was like, well, maybe this is my chance to still get my itch out of music, because I still wanted to do some shit. And I remember a couple months in, I became the band director. I'm like helping these fools write songs, and you know, we're showing up to, you know, church and like do the damn thing. And you know, fools would, and I shit you not, I would have a stack of papers, and I got in trouble for it because I forgot what they called it, but it was we just weren't allowed to do it. Like they would give me when they would walk up to me during the shows, or like them walking into church, because it's still organized. So they would walk in and they would give me little papers of when they would, hey, I wasn't gonna come to church when you sang that song, never would have made it. They would be like, that changed me, bro. And I called my mom, ain't talked to her in about 5 years, homeboy. You know, she wants to talk.
That's the best feeling.
That's when it started for me. That's when I was like, I want to do that. Of course, I don't do gospel music, but I do life-changing music. So it's kind of like, you know, I have my fun records too, don't get me wrong, where I'm talking about some crazy shit, but that was the moment. But I sang in prison, and I remember telling my mom, I'm singing in church. And it made her feel so good. And, you know, I think that's where I started finding God, was because God already knew my language was music. So it only made sense that in that time is when I needed him the most. It only made sense that I found him through the music, you know, and I was writing, you know, Christian records in there to sing, you know, at church. And let's be honest, like I wanted to do that just because I wanted to sing.
I understand what you're saying.
And then it turned out of me finding a faith, you know, and a lot of people didn't believe that I would keep the faith leaving prison, because nobody ever really does. They throw the Bibles out on the way out. Mm-hmm. I battled with mine. I did. I got back into the drug addiction, back into moving shit for a little bit, and then I found my faith again. And
because God didn't let go of you.
Nah, he was waiting on me. And he, you know, I always tell people, they're like, oh, God found you in a cell. I'm like, no, I found him in a cell. He had been there the whole time. Mm-hmm. I just decided to finally look. And I sang in there. And it was crazy because I caught laryngitis right before I went to prison. So I was sounding like this. I couldn't even really sing like I used to. And then my voice started strengthening back up from all those live performances, and, you know, like in there and singing and stuff like that. And then, of course, the women on the unit, the COs.
Tell us. Yes, we want to know about that.
The COs would, you know, pull me out of the dorm. They'd be like, come here.
Your voice gets a little smooth.
Oh, man. It was kind of like weird, because they'd be like, come here, Palacios. I'm like, damn, what I done did. And so they'd take me to the other side, Miss Turner, shout out Miss Turner. She's such a sweet lady. She would have me sing Tennessee Whiskey, and she'd be like, "Man, show Miss Alonzo." And before you know it, hold on one second. Go to Channel 4. Girl, come down here right now. I got 4 COs in there, and it takes one sergeant to be a hater. Palacios, get back there. What are y'all doing? Sarge, we was just da-da-da. Man, now I'm in trouble because they wanted me to sing. But when I'm going to say no, it's my fun entertainment time. And before you know it, my kitchen bosses, I ain't going to put her out there because she still works there. But she follows my music now, and she's going to the Billy Bob show, I believe. But she used to make sure that I have certain privileges, and all I will say is, there was lockdowns. I mean, there's during count time, they lock the whole unit down until everybody gets counted.
4 o'clock?
Yeah, well, ours are every 2 hours, every 2-3 hours.
Oh, okay.
So and they had changed it because the unit next door, they had just killed one of the ladies in the kitchen. Yeah, it was. And I just got there.
Wait, they killed the lady in the kitchen?
Yeah, one of the kitchen bosses, they killed her. They put her in the freezer and everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I wasn't there. I was the Robinson unit right next door, a couple of years before I got there.
Oh,
and so they stared doing count time more frequent. Yeah, no, I wasn't there. That's why they made count time more frequent though. And there was a couple times though where
your face, you're bad.
Nah, I mean,
oh hell no, tell us.
I would leave my cup in the gym and I had to go get it, and damn, it's count time. Now me and her are stuck in the gym for about an hour, so it was, I mean, I guess the voice is giving me some blessings that, I'm thankful for. So I mean, prison.
So you definitely had a lot of privileges.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna blame it on the voice.
We blame that damn voice. Dang it. Shit. But now there was
those are good times. Those are definitely good times.
It was like every unit we went to, it was always somebody like, hey, he can sing. And because of what I look like, they'd be like, sing some. You speak Spanish? And I'm like, because even when I tell people now, they're like, what kind of music do you do? I'm like, country music. They're like, oh, like in Spanish? And I'm like, nah.
Well, country is automatically English.
Well, I mean, they see me and they think Spanish. So I'm like, man, I get people walk up to me, hola, you're the country singer that is it. And they ain't even heard the music yet. They'll be like, man, I've heard about you. Like, so tell me about it. Is it like Spanish country? And I'm like, nah, fool. It's gangster country, So
I love that.
Yeah, well, they would, I used to get the C-caine Cowboy references, and I just ran with it. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
How cool is that?
It's cool, but sometimes it's like.
Does it get old?
No, it's not that. It's just being in a country industry where it's clean cut. You don't want to taint the image to where because I'm not that guy no more. Did I live it? Yes. You know what I'm saying? I know 80 fools that lived it. They don't scream it, but because
yes, I understand.
Yeah, you just kind of like, it's not who I am no more. Let me just move past it. But I mean, if this is who because it was the negative people that were saying it. So it's kind of like. It's just kind of like wear the clothes they give you, so it's like, why not, but.
Because if it's what's working, then it is what it is.
And it did, because a lot of fools keep it real. Like, there's fools that lived my life, and there's some fools that still live the life I live, but they like country music, so they're at the country concerts throwing up gang signs,
Facts.
So.
Well, you know what? It's like, I know a lot of older friends of ours that don't even listen to rap. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's already, especially now,
shit.
Especially nowadays, the rap is just turned into. Like, I mean, I guarantee you every song is about, guns and money and drugs. And then now even the female rappers, like, some of those songs really be throwing me. I'll be like, what did she just say? Like, that is crazy. That's somebody's daughter,
Somebody's daughter.
But I mean, who am I to judge? I mean, that's why I'm here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, but we are blessed.
Yes.
We survived.
Yes.
And we're still surviving.
And we're drinking...
some gingerbread.
Gingerbread oat chai. Like,
yes.
I would have never even thought I would say that,
Well, I definitely said it in the morning.
Yeah, it's funny because one of my guys is a big vato, and he does security for me, my brother Josh. He he orders this, and
he's the one that you told us about.
Yeah, I'm always like, because I mean, it's funnier to me too, because when I'm getting a grande white mocha, it's even funnier when I Uber Eats it to the ranch, and I pull up on the horse to the gate, and the food's just looking at me, because sometimes I have my muscle shirt on, and I'm hit up everywhere, so he's just like stuck on like going on right now. So
how cool is that though? Like, you're just
Yeah, I mean, I'm out there just on the horse, working out the horses and stuff like that, and with my Starbucks, my little colorful cup, and You know, like
Hey, that's real life.
yeah, it is. You
And
know,
it's a
like
blessing to be able to live that way.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
Because that's cool.
Yeah,
I
there's-
literally just pictured you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like when I'm in there getting my Starbucks, because if I go to the ranch real early, I'll be, you know, just maybe like in a muscle shirt, some old jeans, some old boots, and a cowboy hat. And they people will ask, where you headed? I'm like, to the ranch. And then eventually they'll be like, are you? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, so do you? And they can't put. I'm like, nah, that's what I love to do. You know, it's my free time. And but yeah, no, because they're like, and then they'll be like, that's you. And I don't look like that guy, all dressed up and shit. You know, but I'm not a flashy dude anyway. Like for the interviews and stuff like that, you know, I get what it is, but. Like my kids will tell you, like if I'm out eating with my family too, you know, I'll dress decent. But like, nah, I mean,
Some sandals and let's go.
Some old dirty boots and some old jeans, and you know, we're at the ranch. You know, some drinks, some fajitas, and the horses just chilling.
That's dope. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, before we close it up, I'm going to ask you one more time. Is there anything else you would like to share that you haven't shared? And not just your prison experience, but just in general.
Yeah, Billy Bob's Texas. BillyBobsTexas.com. Go there to get tickets. I'm doing my hometown show. This is my first hometown show as a major recording artist. And I really can't believe it. Where I grew up in Diamond Hill is 5 minutes from the stockyards. You ever heard of the stockyards?
I don't know.
Imagine the old 1800s, like Wild West, like old, like bars. Like, right?
Yes.
It's still the original buildings.
How cool is that?
But now it's become a tourist attraction where they built extra stuff. I was saying yesterday in the interview for the food community that the ISIS Theater is in there, and it's an old movie theater that's from like the 50s, 60s and all that. My grandma used to watch movies there. Like go there back when movies were $2, you know, $1. And they shut it down. It was just didn't make money for years. It was closed for decades. They renovated it while I was gone, and I always thought it was cool that it was reopened. And I always kind of wanted to take my grandma back, but I am actually going to get to take her back for my video release. Me and Chris Perez have a song coming out called Brothers in January, and we're going to be doing the screening at ISIS Theater. So getting to walk my grandma in there. So you're
that's good.
Yeah, I want to take her in there and just show her.
I want to go there.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun experience to get to do that. But Billy Bob's is the big thing because in the stockyards, everybody's got a crazy story. Like my brother's even got one, and he wasn't in trouble like that, but he's had to call me like, "Hey, I need you to hurry. They got whatever to pull up," and I'm gunning it to the stockyards, and I'm like not being funny. I was banned from 4 different bars in the stockyards, like criminal trespasses, right? And it's funny because certain people involved in the music now, they're like, hey, why can't he go there? And they're like, what, really? And I'm like, y'all wanted the real deal. This is it, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no sugarcoating in my background. I apologize. And some of these people have actually taken me off of the criminal trespass list. And some of these people have actually been bothered that the painter, my boy Juan Velasquez, was asked to do a mural of country artists on the side. And he was like, hey, I got this one guy. I just wanted to get the okay first. But he's a rising country singer from Fort Worth. His name's Louie. They were like, no, you can't paint him on here. He's banned from this bar. So it's like just funny to just see the full circle. But I'm performing at Billy Bob's. Got the homie Paul Wall opening up for me. So this is the first time.
I have a few friends that are from Texas.
Texas?
My Fed
tell them to pull up. So, because I'm actually going to be performing in Fort Worth, Texas at the Stockyards, December 27th. This is a big hometown show for me. This is it. This is like all the bread and butter. This is all the work that we did all year. This is where it's going to pay off, and I could use the support. You know, we've already cleared 1,000 tickets, and it's still some weeks out. You know, and that last week is always the rush show.
Yes,
I think that this is going to be the stamp of letting people know, like, I'm here. I'm solid in who I am, and I ain't going nowhere. So come enjoy a show. So,
yes.
Yeah, Billy Bob's Texas, BillyBobsTexas.com is where you can get tickets, or LouieTheSingerTour.com. I will be there December 27th, 2 days after Christmas. Nobody should be working that week, and if you are, we got to talk to your boss. That's whack. That's whack. Everybody's off that week, you know. But
sure.
But yeah, that's it from me, man. And just if anybody's going through it, man, just stay positive, and if you got somebody in there, stay positive for them, you know, because the truth is we're in there together, you know.
That's right. Yeah. Well, thank you again for coming, Louie.
Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram.